Hello, viewers. This is Michael from School Reviews, bringing you a new podcast on my subject called the Project Rate Review. And like always, I want to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly, in case you don't understand me. Also, I try to do my best not to break your heart during this art podcast recording as well, not to cause any art feedback as well. And finally, and also, I will try to do my best not to cause any art feedback as well during this art podcast recording as well. Anyway. Like always, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will contain some contain your adult language. Once again, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will contain your adult language if you're under 18. Now, if you're over 18, then you have to watch this audio podcast recording. Now, with this everything else out the way, let's get into the latest episode of Omegahorn. So basically, after exploring the cosmic Gamatron ship on the beach, we see Shao back at the antiquity dealer that he said his ego gears to. He found the treasure. So basically, we see Raisin's emote gear, his badge, and a pair of handcuffs that Shout found on the ship, and basically he was trying to sell to the dealer, but he said this is after, and then the damage rage emote gear, he said this is not an ego gear, so basically I can't even sell none of this junk. So basically, but he wants the Megahorn kid that and the ego. The ego gear of Enka, but Enka came in and was like, don't sell it, don't sell my ego gear, don't you sell my ego gear or in the Megahorn kid. So basically, they went to a outdoor cafe, and basically Enka was telling him the story about him and the original Captain Megahorn, we're a good team. So basically, Pain, back in my era, yes, there were a lot of Megahorn battles and whatnot. So basically, we strive to have friendly battles and whatnot, but also keep others from using, Megahorn beasts to cause any, not to cause any, destructive problems like that, or go evil and whatnot. So basically, him and the original Captain Megahorn, he was worthy of my powers and whatnot, and basically, he was my friend and whatnot. And basically, after hearing that, after hearing Inka's story about the original Captain Megahorn, he said that, oh my God, no matter what, I would never sell the Megahorn kid and your ego gear for anything. So basically, after hearing that, Enka was glad to hear that, and basically, Enka and Shout are starting to really bond together as friends and whatnot. Anyway, meanwhile, we back at the Evan Alliance, who are the bad guys. Evan decided to go to the village where, go somewhere. He heard there was some strong hunters somewhere nearby a dam, and basically we see Zetsu Inka. So basically he took Zetsu Inka and Raisin. Basically, they got on this flying vehicle, and basically they got to the dead, and they spotted the sorry, a little tongue tied today. They spotted the Megahorn group who was near the dam, and basically, So basically, Evan, basically used the Megahorn kid to allow Enka to transform into his Megahorn Beastborn, and basically, it was just it was just like a 2-minute battle, and basically he wanted at least around 2 minutes, so basically. And one the Hunter Gooch, Megahorn Beast, and gave it to Raven, like, hey, this is yours now. Use it. So anyway, seems like Raven was like, after seeing the quick battle, he seemed like he was like, what? He was just looking at the spectator and whatnot, and basically just like, just look at the ego gear, like, like something's wrong with his memory or something like that. So anyway, meanwhile, somewhere else, we see the Twins trying to stop this Carman from taking the. There was this comment that Lupe was calling these people in a nearby village. So basically, the Twins, Aaron and Al, showed up, and basically, this guy's a comment. So basically, they challenged him to a Megahorn battle, and basically, Lupe used his Megahorn beast. There are two ways to use your Megahorn beast. You can use it to power up yourself and a weapon, and power up yourself and use that little beast as a weapon, or you could use it. You could just summon it and basically have a giant monster battle. So basically, he chose to use his Megahorn beast as a shield, and basically to power up himself and use it as a shield. So basically, the Twins. The Twins doesn't know how to do, they don't know how to, use that Megahorn Beast Guko as a weapon to power up themselves yet. So basically, the Twins, got into battle with Lupin, and Lupin, started to cheat by putting putting an innocent civilian in trouble until Shout and Inca showed up, and basically, it took over the battle. So basically, Shout used his Megahorn phone to fuse together with Inca, Inca to superpower his suit, and basically then he defeats with Inca and summoned Inca in his giant monster form, and basically, using the power of his shield, Lupin was basically had Inca trapped, and two Twins, gave him the power up, gave him and two Twins gave him, that Megahorn beast, and basically, it turns out that Inca can fuse with other Megahorn beasts, and basically, the Twins Megahorn beast, based for Inca, became these powerful boxing gloves that attached to Inca's front paws, and basically he uses to break free from the shields that Lupin was making with his Megahorn beast, and basically working together again. They did some shenanigans, basically did some shenanigans, and therefore ended up beating Lupin, and basically ended up getting Lupin Ego Gear and his beast and whatnot. So basically, the Twins realized that they still have a lot to learn to be Megahorn hunters. So basically, they gave they can't shout their Megahorn beast and Ego Gear to shout cause you know seems like they still had a lot to learn to be a lot to learn to be Megahorn or to be hunters and whatnot. So basically like shout was like shout and Enka was Genku to the twins for helping them out during that battle and whatnot, and basically standing up to what's right, and the people that they helped with also Genku for taking on that Lupe dude and whatnot, that Carmen Lupin and whatnot. So anyway, we see Genko who like watching the whole thing from a distance and basically like like Inka and Xiao, you guys are an unusual duo, and basically like I might have to test your. I might have to test your power very soon. And basically, Ginko is like just watching and thinking that like to after seeing how they work together, like she's thinking about testing how powerful Inka and Chao are together or whatnot. Anyway, meanwhile, back on we go to Loomis's Gavin Loomis, and basically we see Bushido, helping out Gavin Loomis, and basically take out some remote monsters, and basically and what they did, and like the person who's behind those remote monsters, we see Anwar and Keiko, basically like tell him good jobs and whatnot, and basically like so basically, Anwar loves her solo. So basically, like they were trying to force Tessa to pick a soda to drink for after the victory and whatnot. Now, none of them. So basically, like Tessa was like oh damn it, I'm not good at this situation, and basically Tessa was wondering where is Raisin at now. I could use Master Raisin's help right now with this situation, and basically the girl was like pick a soda already to drink, and basically said this is how the episode ended with Chestnut wishing that Raisin was here to help the situation with the girls, and basically this is how the episode ended on this note. Raisin wondering, with Tessa wondering where is Raisin at, and basically this is how the episode ended on this note. So anyway, basically this episode suggests, based off the episode, most likely that Raisin must have lost his memories by crashing in Shout's dimension and whatnot. So basically, based off this is just based off the episode of this episode. So basically, I believe that that Raisin came to Shout's world and something must have happened to his ship that forced him to crash land, and therefore Raisin must have some must have amnesia, and therefore he's working for the bad guys because he has amnesia and doesn't remember who he really is. So anyway, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion based on the evidence of this episode. It's suggesting that Raisin must have amnesia, crashing into Shout's dimension, and basically. So basically they're going with the old amnesia superhero storyline for Raisin and whatnot. But we don't know for sure that this Raisin, based on the episode, is strongly suggests that this is Gavin. Raisin is the real Raisin and whatnot. But I ran on too long. But That's just my opinion. So anyway, this was a good second episode of Megahorn. So anyway, what you guys think about the latest episode of Megahorn? Good, bad, or just okay? Please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, sign off for Screw Reviews 1.